So here's the deal. I once had a job, don't ask where, just picture a gray soul-crushing office, not the kind with ping-pong tables and free donuts but the kind where the highlight is a new microwave. And I was the only woman on the team. My name was Maddie, but for the first 3 months they just called me Sweetheart. Seriously. Even on the corporate email. On day 1, someone loudly, and obviously making sure I could hear, announced, "Well, looks like we've got ourselves a new secretary." I'm a programmer, by the way. Not a girl who codes a bit, but someone who crushes bugs like a seasoned mushroom hunter after a rainstorm. But try explaining that to Ed, the local know-it-all whose main resume entry is, "Can breathe loudly and interrupt everyone." First day my computer wasn't working. Naturally, I popped open the case to see what was up. The whole team gathered around. "Don't worry, Maddie, we'll call our IT guy." Meanwhile, I'm sitting there with a screwdriver, but apparently my gender level doesn't allow me to tighten screws. Eventually the IT guy, who, fun fact, didn't even know how to install RAM, true story, told me to please don't interfere, and went off to get some coffee. From that moment on it was clear. I had 3 roles: fetch, carry, stay out of the way, and laugh at their jokes about the boss's wife. They didn't even let me pick my own chair. Girls love pink stuff. Let's put a Hello Kitty sticker on your monitor. So there I am, coding away while they debate whether McGregor or the new office rug is cooler. Tough competition, honestly. At every meeting, someone would interrupt, someone else would explain my own project to me, and someone would inevitably invite me to their barbecue so I could come chop up a salad like all girls do. And that was just the beginning. It only got worse from there. But I decided I wasn't going to give up that easily. That's when things really started to get interesting. That first week felt like living in a low-budget comedy. Someone was always pulling a prank, but instead of laughing, you just wanted to howl at the moon. Friday was the legendary guys' breakfast. Everyone brought in food, except me, of course, because they forgot to add me to the email list. Hilarious, right? But they didn't forget to ask me to pour everyone coffee because, well, you girls don't eat bacon anyway, right? Yeah, I'm vegetarian, but not because it's written on my forehead, just a personal choice, you know. They'd gather in the conference room and debate which chick from accounting they'd want on a desert island. I was invisible until the coffee ran out. Then suddenly, everyone remembered there was a woman in the office. If I didn't bring coffee, clearly I was having PMS or a bad mood. Or as one funny guy put it, "What, you hit menopause at 27? By the end of the first week, it was time for a team-building quest. Well, quest. They hid some beers around the office, including in the disabled bathroom, classy, and all I had to do was smile, not get in the way, and serve as the team mascot. Later there was a quiz. Who knows the most about beer? I suggested a front-end quiz. They all laughed, and one guy, let's call him Kevin, said, "Maddie, why don't you tell us where you keep your purse? We'll handle the front end." And of course, when someone botched a project, guess who got blamed? "Maybe you didn't get our memes, Maddie, and messed up the code." Turned out later it was Ed who forgot to push his changes. Did he own up? Of course not. Instead, another week of women in IT are like cats in a bathtub. Everyone knows it's possible, but nobody wants it. That's when I had my first brilliant idea. If they wanted me to be invisible, I'd become their personal poltergeist. No pink, no Hello Kitty. Just making their lives as fun as they made mine. It only got wilder from here. Buckle up. If being their mascot wasn't going to cut it, I decided to play by their rules, but with my own style. You know, more high-tech revenge. If they wanted the office to be a boys-only monastery, I'd become their resident ghost, haunting them with every bit of chaos I could muster. First, I changed the notification sounds on their computers. Instead of the usual ding, it now played, "Oh, Kevin, did you forget to push your bugs again?" The best part? They couldn't figure out for a week where that voice was coming from. Thought maybe the boss was spying on them. Next, I switched around their desktop shortcuts so whenever they tried to open a project, it launched a guide titled, "How to Work with Women and Not Look Like an Idiot." Oh, the outrage. One dude even Googled, "Psychology of female coworkers." As if there were any others besides me. My favorite moment. They started seriously thinking the office was cursed. Someone brought in salt. A few started putting their mugs upside down to ward off evil spirits. No one considered for a second That if they just stopped acting like Wi-Fi-enabled chimps, life might improve. Nope, must be magic. But then I saw the other side. Came in early one day to avoid another discussion about whose gigabytes were bigger, and overheard the boss straight up debating whether having a woman on the team does any good if she's not even wearing a skirt. Basically, if I wasn't doubling as their waitress, I was useless. I almost crashed his office with a cake and a sign reading, "Congratulations, it's 1955. But I settled for, "Hey, don't worry, I didn't forget my skirt today." They shrugged, smiled, and kept going. That's when I realized sarcasm works, but only on some of them. For others, you have to outplay them at their own game. So I decided time for Operation Payback with style. The revenge plan started to pay off. Someone's mouse started moving in the wrong direction. Someone else's monitor kept popping up memes about toxic coworkers, always suspiciously next to Kevin's face. But the real fun started when our team lead, the guy who called me sweetheart, and made it his life mission to mansplain every API, even ones I'd written myself, suddenly got sick for a week. And wow, the collective male brain started to melt. Turns out they had no idea how to plan sprints by themselves, didn't know who should hand off what, and basically decided the project would collapse in 48 hours without their fearless leader. Somebody suggested appointing a temporary chief. Of course, all hell broke loose. Each dude thought he alone was worthy of such a holy title. Well, except me. I just kept my mouth shut doing my tasks, as usual, quietly doing half of everyone else's work so the project didn't die. Then the boss comes in looking like he swallowed a cactus. "So guys, maybe Maddie can handle organizing the tasks for a couple days? She's already assigning everything anyway." Cue circus music. Kevin: "Come on guys, she's just a girl." Another guy: "Maybe we just handle it ourselves." Third dude perpetually searching for Wi-Fi. Honestly, it can't get any worse. The vote was epic. Out of 7 men, 2 voted yes, 3 no. 1 was undecided, "Can I have pizza?" And I, of course, won by the ancient method of nobody else wants it, give it to her. Funniest thing? We got more done in those 2 days than we had in the previous month. Because nobody was mansplaining, nobody was having ego battles. I just made a task board, tossed out clear instructions, and whenever someone whined, I answered with a picture of a kitten saying "cry more." When the team lead returned and tried to flip back into alpha male mode, I just handed him his throne and went to drink my coffee, on my own dime of course. The guys couldn't figure out why things were suddenly working. Turns out when the girl runs things, everything doesn't explode. Shocking, I know. But now, I wasn't just an outsider. I was a threat to their sacred man stability. It's one thing to be the team mascot. It's another to be the person who suddenly did the team lead's job, and did it without shouting, "I'm the boss." That, it turns out, is a mortal sin in the man cave. I wasn't just the temporary boss. I'd become their personal Siri, minus the pleasant voice and off button. At the next meeting, the return team lead pulled a show. He strutted in like a Roman emperor, talked about how badly things went, who screwed up, me of course, and how the project nearly died without his leadership. Kevin from the front row: "Well, actually Maddie handled everything just fine while you were gone." And that's when I saw for the first time a grown man try to smile and chew his own elbow out of rage at the same time. The team lead didn't miss a beat. Well, sometimes even a monkey can push the right button. Laughter. Applause. Standing ovation. I was officially the monkey of the week. The real fun came after. Suddenly the guys started coming to me as a friend. For example, Ed shows up. "Hey, can you help me with these tests? Just don't tell anyone I don't know how to run them, the guys will think." Sure, I helped. 30 minutes later, I hear Ed at the water cooler. "Oh, it's nothing, I figured it out myself. I just explained it to Maddie so she could catch up." A day later, I get handed a new project. The boss suddenly sees leadership potential in me. Probably so he can say the woman failed. Fine, I'll take it. And then comes the twist. Suddenly, all the old bugs, the ones nobody wanted to touch for months, start landing on my desk. Maddie's into organizing, let her check these. And not just ordinary bugs. No, I get ones labeled fix if possible, which turn out to be things like the program freezes if someone turns on the microwave in the next room. I start digging and guess what? It's Ed again, the same guy who rewired everything a month ago to impress the boss with the new router location. The router now lives in the bathroom. Why? Because no one bothers you in there. At this point, I was no longer just a threat, I was like an undercover cop. No one knew whose side I was on. Not even me. But honestly, I was having fun. Right up until the guys decided to restore balance to the office universe. When a pack of office dudes senses a threat, the conspiracy level goes through the roof, think Area 51 but with more cargo shorts. After a while I noticed a new trend. Every time I walked into the kitchen the guys would freeze. Someone would nervously stir sugar in his mug. Another would suddenly get very interested in his email. Spoiler, it was just Reddit. And someone else would get a call. With headphones, right there by the sink. Soon rumors reached me. The guys had formed their own little mafia. A secret society where they plotted how to bring back the old order. They held meetings by the water cooler, building plans like they were prepping for a Mars mission at NASA. The goal: stop the woman from leading, but also not hurt her feelings. Genius, right? So I started playing along. I'd appear in the most unexpected places. Walk into a meeting room, instant silence and nervous work talk. Bugs, commit, agile. Once I caught the three most alpha dudes strategizing how to prove they could lead too. Otherwise people might actually start holding them accountable for stuff. Next morning the boss announces, "We're starting a new recognition and reward system. Anyone can nominate a coworker for special achievements." Naively I thought, hey, something constructive? LOL, as if. The first nominees? The guys themselves. Each submission read something like, Kevin, for his awesome joke at the meeting. Ed for bringing in coffee. Spoiler, I brought the coffee but okay. Josh, for bravely pressing a new button on the coffee machine. No one voted for me. For them I'm like Wi-Fi, useful only when you need it but no one says thanks. And if I stop working, panic. Then they upped the game. Created their own group chat without me, bravo geniuses. To me it was hilarious. These dudes spent more time on their secret society than actually working. At some point, I decided that if manly solidarity was their crowning achievement, I'd become the biggest threat to their little brotherhood. After all, what's scarier than a woman who knows all your secrets? Only a woman with screenshots. If you think their secret dude group chat was going to stop me, please, I wasn't born yesterday. Guess who cracked the password to their little coffee and Wi-Fi brotherhood? In 2 days? Yup, yours truly, the office poltergeist. It took me about 5 seconds to read Kevin's sticky note. The password: beer for life. Pure genius. That chat was everything. Dodging tasks, accidentally forgetting tests, who to invite out for beers if Maddie's here, killing the vibe with her responsibility. But the top topic was always how to make sure the boss noticed only their achievements again. Eventually I got bored. It's one thing to be the office threat, but another to just watch a bunch of grown men create more problems for themselves than a legacy codebase. Time to stir the pot. So one Wednesday I showed up early, fired up the big screen, and displayed a sheet titled, Best Quotes from Our Secret Chat. No names, of course. Highlights included, let's just make sure Maddie doesn't get the new project, or we'll have to actually do it right again. Women don't like bugs, so that's why she nitpicks. Does anyone know how to delete comments in Jira before Maddie catches on? The room froze. Kevin turned white. Ed chewed his sugar packet in terror. The boss actually asked to have a heart-to-heart. For the first time in half a year. And then the wildest thing, 2 guys actually came up to me with real project questions. No jokes, no figure it out, you're the girl. One even apologized for an old skirt joke. But still asked if I could get him a discount at Starbucks. Some things never change. You'd think this was my big moment. But nope, office life always has a twist. After my little exposé, the vibe turned from icy to absolute zero. Now guys either avoided me, acted like I was invisible even at the same table, or my personal favorite, looked genuinely scared. That's when I realized to them a female threat was scarier than any bug. And normal life here was done for me. Time for something truly epic. A grand finale they'd never forget. When you become the office ghost and the guys react to you like you're the IRS, it's time to ask, why not throw a party for everyone? One they'll never forget. One they'll whisper about at future meetings like it's a campfire legend. I decided that if I was going out, I'd go out with a bang. It started innocently enough. Friday was the big company pirate night. The guys went all in. Fake beards, face paint skulls, Some didn't even need makeup, they just don't wash. Naturally, I was the mascot, to decorate the photos and maybe dance by the water cooler. Instead, I made them a pirate quest. Except my questions and challenges weren't about rum and buried treasure. They were about internal bugs, screw-ups, secret chats, and actual quotes from their manly discussions. All anonymous, of course. Who remembered the front end wouldn't deploy? Who was it who joked about skirts and coffee? Why did Kevin think beer for life was a secure password? At every step, the team would start blushing and fidgeting, especially when the final question was, name the number one reason this project hasn't fallen apart yet. Dead silence. One guy mumbled, because someone does everyone else's job? You could feel the awkwardness. Plastic swords were basically melting from shame. They expected me to smile and pretend everything was fine. That's when I grabbed the mic. Okay, it was a toaster, but our party budget was like -$2. Stood on the table and announced, "Gentlemen, I'm leaving. Because I'm not a mascot, not your Wi-Fi, not your in-office meme. I'm a person, and I can find a team where I don't have to play pirate just for someone else's approval." Silence. Someone dropped a plastic cup. The boss tried a joke. "You serious?" I smiled, wished them empathy, and started packing my things. Kevin, the one who always made skirt jokes, whispered, "It's gonna be boring without you." I told him that if boring was the worst thing to happen to him at work, maybe try living a day without a group chat ganging up on someone. So yeah, I left with style. And what happened next? Well, even when you leave, the office wars don't stop. After jumping ship from the man cave, I figured finally this saga is over. Now I can have a normal life, free of coworkers arguing about whose testosterone is stronger, or who most deserves the best coffee cup carrier award. I enjoyed about 3 days of peace, imagining them at meetings, staring at bugs no one wanted to fix, wondering how to survive without their free poltergeist. By day 2, my LinkedIn lit up. "Hey Maddie, can you quickly explain how to deploy the front end? Do you remember the password to the old server? Total chaos here, no one knows who's supposed to hand out coffee. Tasks. My favorite was from the boss. Would you maybe stop by for a quick consult? Just to keep team spirit up." Yeah, right. No way I was going back. I landed a new job and the very first interview question was, "What's your favorite stack?" I almost cried. Not, "Do you know how to serve coffee?" Not, "Do you like skirt jokes?" But about my stack. Like I was an actual specialist and not some office witch from the legends of male collectives. The new place? Turns out some men can be normal sometimes. Everyone fixes bugs together, and the group chat is only memes about bugs, not about coworkers. Meanwhile, my old office started falling apart. Kevin quit because the atmosphere isn't the same. Translation. No one left to meme about. Ed became a freelancer. Nobody checks what you're doing. Got banned for missing deadlines, LMAO. The new team lead tried new traditions, but rumor has it their office mascot now is a cactus, silent and pretending not to care. Just like I did. One day I got a message. "Maddie, did you really orchestrate all that?" I just replied with a gif of a ghost waving goodbye. People say office wars never end. Sometimes you just have to stand up and leave for everyone to realize even Wi-Fi can disconnect, especially if you treat it like crap. If you think this story ended with a happy ending, where all the guys learned their lesson, enrolled in gender sensitivity workshops, and started pouring their own coffee, you've clearly never worked in an American office. Reality is way duller and even more absurd. The crew lives by their own rules. For every one person who leaves, another guy shows up thinking a meme about the secretary with 2 degrees is peak office humor. They replace me with a guy named Jay, quiet, polite, makes his own coffee. But rumor is they already call him the office toaster because he accidentally set the microwave on fire and is now too scared to go near the kitchen. Sometimes old coworkers still message me. Some just want my contacts, others reminisce about the legendary pirate party, and a few try to explain. You get it, right? It was all just a joke. Yeah. Just like I ran those quests and put their chat quotes on the big screen for a laugh. So here's my office toast for every mascot, Wi-Fi, and poltergeist who goes unnoticed until they leave. Raise your mugs to all the invisible office mascots, Wi-Fis, and ghosts who get noticed only when they're gone. To those who fix bugs without expecting credit. To everyone who keeps quiet when it'd be easier to just flip the table and leaves with style. even if no one appreciates it. To all the witches, curses, and heroines who keep it together but never hear a thank you. And hey, if you ever find yourself at another work party, listening to guys argue about whether McGregor or the new coffee machine is cooler, just remember, somewhere someone is already writing their next r/anti-work story. It always starts with, "So guys, I'm the only sober one at the bar again," and ends with nothing working once she's gone. Cheers, wage slaves. See you at the next pointless meeting where I still won't get the coffee just because I can.